And then on top of that, she added, "Oh, I also have a leak."
Oh, what kind of a leak?
She goes, "I don't know. It's on the ground."
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Oil leak. BMW.
It's a BMW.
It's an oil leak.
What it does.
Yeah.
What do they call it? A factory feature.
Yeah. Yeah.
Feature.
All right, you ready? You want to do this thing?
Yeah,
All right, let's get into some vocal analysis.
Yes.
Analysis. Vocal analysis. And vocal anesthesia. All right.
Yes.
307 Reacts. I am Matt. That is Chris. My voice gets
Yo.
exponentially louder the second I snap, and I'm not sure what kind of disease or infectious thing that is, but it's just a thing that happens on here. How are you guys doing? You guys are the best audience in the world. Do you want to see a clip from our good friends from 10 for 10? Here it comes. Get ready for it. Right out of nowhere. Left field. Go.
Hi, I'm Joe.
I'm John.
And we are 10 for 10. And we'd like to invite you to our live stream performance of the Battle of the Bands at Sunshine Studios Live, January 11th, 2025.
Saturday night.
You can get your ticket from the link provided, and it's a $5 ticket with a $5 handling fee. Hope to see you there.
All right, so it's a small clip and there's not a whole lot of information in it, but if you want more information, basically what's going to happen is me and Chris are going to sponsor 50 tickets for a live stream on 10 for 10, a show that they have coming up on January 11th in Colorado Springs. We're just going to stream live right from our page, and basically we're just making a big donation to them in order to do this. So we're just sponsoring a bunch of money to them. So we're going live on January 11th. It'll be a nighttime gig, but we'll be streaming live from YouTube. We'll be down in Colorado Springs filming their set for their show. So
now, if you guys still want to purchase a ticket, the link should be down in the description below. Somewhere.
Yeah, I think so. I updated the description just to say message us on Instagram for more information.
Perfect.
So we can always send it there also. Our Instagram handles are in the description down there. So all the information, get a hold of me or him, or just hit us up on here in the comments. Let us know. We'll reach out. Whatever we got to do to make it happen.
But yeah, and that'll go to just supporting the band further than our own sponsorship.
Yep, absolutely. So if you still want to buy a ticket, that goes directly to their pocket, gives them a vote to get into this Battle of the Bands thing that they're playing this whole show for. So it's all for good cause. Yes. Anyways, now that that's out of the way, on the screen in front of us, we have The Mastery of Teddy Swims by our boy Chris Liepe. So vocal analysis of Lose Control. Now, if you've never heard the song Lose Control, I highly recommend you go listen to it right now. And even before we get into this, maybe just refresh yourself and go listen to it. The song is amazing. Teddy Swims. We had him on the channel.
He's a legend.
Maybe it's been 2 years now. I don't know. Maybe it was last year sometime. We had him on the channel. He was doing a studio thing, and he absolutely blew me away.
Yeah, and then, it was with that old piano.
Yeah, the piano player, dude. Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. Blew me away. And then, like, a few months after that, all of a sudden, Teddy Swims is, like, one of the most popular dudes on the radio. And I don't know what the hell. I was going to say, I don't know what the hell happened, but I guess it was us.
Shabuzi, Teddy Swims.
Yeah, dude. It's all us,
Jelly Roll, we covered them all.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we had Jelly Roll too. So naturally, if you get on this channel, you're just going to be on the radio in a few months. That's it. Potential musicians and artists.
Stop putting in the work, okay? Just you're done.
Just send us a video, make a video, we'll review it, and then you're there. It's over. This one is called The Village Sessions, and if you don't know who Chris Liepe is, he is did he work for a studio, or is he just a vocal coach? Or
as far as his work before this, I have no idea.
Okay.
What I do know is he does have experience playing in bands. He was a singer. He teaches people how to sing. He's a studio engineer. He does a lot in the music world, and he's probably the best guy that you could go to.
He's got
if you need to learn something.
Incredible advice for improving your vocals, and even just for keeping your vocals trained.
Yeah.
To where you're not losing the sustain or losing the your range or anything like that. Just for breath control, just for practicing to get up to higher notes and things. He's got great advice, and most of it is common sense stuff that you
and goofy and wacky.
Things that you wouldn't necessarily think about, but when someone explains it to you, like when Chris explains it to you, you're just like, oh. You're right. I do laugh way higher than I normally talk. And a lot of those notes when I'm laughing are notes that I struggle to get when I'm singing. And why is that? I can hit them.
It's a mental thing.
And then he talks about using your breath and things. He's great. He's an awesome vocal coach. So we're going to watch him break down some Teddy Swims, and I'm very excited for this. I didn't realize we were watching this until when we pulled up the watch.
I didn't realize we were watching it until an hour ago.
So when Chris set up the list. So if you guys are along for the ride, hit that subscribe button. It's totally free for you. It could change the world for us. And buckle in, because this is going to be amazing. amazing.
gonna
All
be
of
good.
anyone out there who's working on their vocals or trying to be a singer or is a singer,
Or
Chris
even just
Liepe's-
wants to dip their toe into, hey, I would like to learn how to sing like
Yeah.
Teddy Swims.
Absolutely.
This would be a great
Yep.
video to start.
I'm probably going to take a lot away from this myself. So,
Yes.
all right, let's go.
Teddy Swims is a master. He's a
Yes.
natural.
Yes.
He's inspirational.
Yes.
His voice, his songs,
Yes.
earworms.
Yeah,
I haven't
Yeah.
seen this live performance of Lose Control, so I'm really excited to dive in. And it's a wonderful excuse to talk about all the little aspects and nuances of what makes Teddy's voice so amazing.
Something's got a hold on me lately. No, I don't know myself anymore. Feels like the walls are all closing in, and the devil's knocking at my door. Whoa, out of my mind. How many
Okay, let's talk a little bit
He's already
about
got
his
chills, dude.
tone, his beautiful rasp, his country blues sort of placement. Nature. What a vocalist naturally falls into. They realize they're naturally good at something, and so they lean into that with their voice. Versus intentional posture.
Okay.
This is, they do something with their tone on purpose. They do something with their vocal approach on purpose to create different textures and different sounds with their voice. And all great...
We've briefly touched on that in a less educational way and saying that like the way you sing and the way you act on stage, that's your character, you know, like
Yeah.
you're letting people know how you represent yourself through your voice and your mannerism, things like that.
So you take your natural voice, and then you take this character and what you think this character should sound like,
And
kind of mash them together
combine
and
the two.
figure out
Yeah.
where the middle ground is and what works.
I like that he's coming at it with the same approach, like who you are as a natural person and where you've come from and your experiences and things like that will shape kind of how you project when you're singing, or if you want it to, you know, it depends
Well,
on if that's how you want to represent yourself.
And in this, he's talking more like everybody has a natural vocal tone.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
like he goes, for instance, my mom, when she sings, she has like a thicker Southern accent when she sings compared to
Sure.
when she talks. She still has a Southern accent when she talks, but it becomes a little more musically thicker
Yeah, that makes
when
sense.
she sings. A lot of people lose their accents when they sing,
Yeah.
but she already had this accent, and so it was natural for her to fall into a slightly heavier thing.
True.
Now, if she was going to sing Les Miserables, okay, that doesn't quite, people might not feel
she could do
that
her own
way about
version of it.
okay?
It might be okay, you know.
But she might take that Southern accent and like kind of clean it up and make it a little more, oh God, what do they call it? Like kind of the fancy Southern,
Sure.
like they kind of...
Fancy
there's
Southern.
a-
I'm gonna start calling myself
there's
that.
a
I'm a
name
fancy
for it.
Southern. Okay.
A lot of people call it Old Southern English, and that's not the vernacular word for it.
See, we are an educational channel. Vernacular.
Vernacular.
See the big words we use.
But anyway, like she could take that little bit of her natural voice and what's natural to her, and change it to where it's like, oh, this is Les Miserables taking place in Georgia or North
Sure.
Carolina
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
Because like I hear this Southern accent thing going on, but it fits because her mouth formations are a little bit different. It still feels a little more what's the word? Operatic.
Okay.
And it's not like this Southern country twangy like thing. It's like an operatic thing sung from a porch in Alabama or whatever. Like you're taking two different worlds, what's natural to you and what's like something where you have to make a change to your voice and combining them.
Vernacular operaticisms. Education. Professional.
I don't even know.
I'm gonna try and edit in all three of those. I'm just gonna do it.
Let's
I
do
have
it.
no idea what that. I don't even think that's a real thing, but that's what we're here for. Let's keep going.
Voices
Oh,
are a combination
It's fine.
of both.
Let me
Some
let
are
me do this
weighted
really quick, just so we have control of the screen.
more towards the nature, and some are weighted more towards intentional postures. So we can do both with our voices too. Let's first talk about his rasp.
Something's got a hold on me
Let's talk
lately.
about that rasp,
No,
Chris,
I don't know myself anymore.
because it's so good.
Now
man.
we're going to back off our intensity as we let just a little bit more air pressure through. Something something, something. And you hear as I'm dialing it in, I'm getting a bit of cracking. It's like I'm on the edge of my voice. Something's got a hold of me lately. And there's all sorts of little incidental things that are happening there. There's not quite a grit. It's more of a rasp. It's more of a sigh.
Wow, dude. That's the kind of stuff.
God,
like,
dude,
what? How did he just go from talking like Chris Liepe to just
Mind-breaking.
he almost had the swims, like, he kind of had it. Like, this guy, he was doing it, man.
See, and that's the thing. Like, I've always thought Teddy Swims had a grit to where if I was going to match that,
You want to push
I would
more.
Force it.
Yeah.
Like I even did it a
Something's
second
gotta,
ago.
you know.
Something's got a hold of me.
Yeah.
And it's like a more, where he's like, no, you need to abandon into it. Just
Someone's got dude, that's crazy.
It's less,
I would never
not
think
more.
to, and in the whole realm, the whole specter of music that I'm familiar with, I would never think to pull back on anything. It's always go more, go harder.
So like you pull less intensity and allow more air pressure, which is really hard to wrap my mind around.
It's the emotion, man.
But it makes sense when you try to practice it.
Yeah.
Because like when you sigh, there's more air pressure than what you would normally do when you talk.
And it fits the words.
So it's like a sigh, but it's a relaxed.
Something's got a hold on me lately, man. Like you're like something's got to give, you know.
Yeah,
and it's
part
just
of
like
that character.
Dude, it's so good. It's so good, man. All right,
This is why I love this guy.
Yeah, he's already blowing my mind.
And there's not quite a grit. It's more of a rasp. It's more of a sigh.
Feels like the walls are all closing in, and the devil's knocking at my door.
That's not to take away from how just naturally amazing his voice sounds. I'm just trying to help us appreciate it even more by examining what's possible with our own voices.
Yeah.
Whoa, out of my mind. How many times did I tell you?
Out of my mind.
No good at being.
He can clean it up too.
Really well.
Taking a toll on me, trying my best to keep from tearing the skin off my bones.
See, and that part here, he might say something about it. I don't know, but it to me it sounds like the words want to come out, and he's almost holding them back. Like he's trying to keep them in. Like I don't want to quite let them out. Like listen to this kind of intensity here.
Out of my mind.
No good at being.
He can clean it up too.
It's taking a toll on me, trying my best to keep from tearing the skin off my bones. Don't you know?
And then he does
Then
push
it's
it
a
out.
Releases it, yeah.
little growl. That's a lower placement than the.
Bring your mind next to me. I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see? I lose control.
Dude, that.
Whoa, can we give a shout out to the dude in the background here?
I don't know if there's like, okay, so let me see if I can find a spot. So there's someone singing in this booth behind him. There's also someone in glass on another side. I don't know if there's an actual female or not included in this. But I know there might be three vocalists on it.
The backup singer I saw was the one dude.
Right, and if you get a glimpse, I don't know if it'll show when I hit play here, but you get a glimpse of somebody behind him up here with the mic as well, up behind these baffles here.
Okay.
So
Let's see.
I think there's multiple singers.
So that's the guy behind the glass.
I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see?
Let's see. Oh, that's Teddy.
Oh, that's Teddy.
Oh, that's him.
Yeah. Okay.
So maybe there is only two?
Yeah, just him and the other guy. That's all I hear. Oh, sick. We lost audio.
Lost our audio,
Oh.
lost our mics for a minute there. I'm going to bring them back because I want this to continue here. So I'm just going to snap in. I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this for me really quick. There we go. Now our mics are back. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what the F is going on. It's time for a new computer for this boy. Unfortunately, life has happened and some other things need to be taken care of. I'm a Subaru driver. And and some things have come up that are probably going to push that back a little bit. But we'll see. We got some things to work through here. But yeah, anyways, for now.
So imagine being that guy who's singing the backup vocal with him, and then like telling your friends and shit. Like, right? Let's say you're out at a bar, you meet a girl. And she's like, oh, so what do you do? You're like, yeah, I'm a studio musician. She's like, what does that mean? Well, I just hang around a studio, and when they need somebody, I come in.
I come in and do
and
extra
she's
parts
like,
and stuff.
Oh, okay. Like, cool. Have you done anything ever? Oh, yeah, I'm on the Teddy Swims. Crazy. Like, have you heard that song?
On the live studio
She's like,
one?
yeah. He's like, yeah, I sing on that. She goes, no, you don't. He goes, yeah. He all plays back. You hear that little... That's me. That's your boy.
I did that. That was me. So anyways, you want to get out of here, or what do you think?
So anyway, you're paying, right?
Yeah. So I'm just going to slide the bill over to you. Because studio musician, they ain't exactly a paying gig most of the time. So
now they can. They
can
if they're a
be,
dedicated studio musician, that's the guy that you can make a lot of money at that.
You have to be in it for a long time before you get to those points.
You got to have some sort of name about you.
You got to prove yourself over and over and over again, man.
You got to suck shit for a while. Like that's
a lot of coffee runs, man. A lot of coffee runs and cleaning bathrooms, and that's a lot of the studio life when you first get into it. Professional studios, you make the most coffee runs, and you buy guitar strings, and you buy snare heads.
It's the same thing in any other. Okay, I'm a mechanic. I've been doing this shit for 10 years now, and I can almost afford a house. Okay?
Yeah,
like,
see, you're not wrong.
I sucked shit for a long time.
You've been in 10 years, and you're finally at a point where like you have a boss who trusts you to like run the shop when he's out of town. Like you're in charge now. Here's the card. Here's the thing. You can do the. You're finally at that point.
Yeah.
But I'm sure when you start out as like a lube tech and shit, it's like
you get excited to afford lunch.
Yeah. Oh.
Like y'all are getting paid.
Like you guys are getting paid to change oil. All right, let's keep going. Just watch that, and if it drops out, that'll start blinking.
Just little.
Right there on lose. It's not just I lose. It's not just a note. There's this arc that happens. See, I started in chest voice. And then I backed off the breath pressure as I sort of closed the vowel. I lose. Come. Try that on a speech level.
Ooh.
Lean into
Wow,
and
dude.
then exit it in head voice and see what happens.
Bring your mind next to me. I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see?
Now his runs are so dialed in.
Well,
Sometimes it's helpful to go to an
gonna start covering that song at acoustic shows. I don't know if I can hit those notes, but I'm gonna work on it because
We're gonna find out. We're gonna take this video and practice.
yeah, dude, this would be a good one to add to the list. Dude, this would be people would be like, seriously? And especially this is one of those ones where if you're gonna take it on, you better do it the right way.
better fucking
like,
nail it.
you better
Yeah.
nail it because people are gonna be expecting. Like,
I'll tell you this.
Teddy Swims didn't get famous by having a shitty voice. You know what I mean? And if you're going to come in here and have a shitty voice and try and replicate it, boy, you're going to hear about it. You're going to hear about it, dude.
I was nervous when I heard, did you hear T-Pain did a cover of this song? I go, he did not.
Oh, no.
He did not.
I did not hear that.
Oh, you really haven't?
I have not heard that.
Bro, he fucking nailed it.
Nuh-uh.
Yes.
What?
Dude,
and there's not you don't have the auto-tune thingy going on? Or?
Wait, was it this song or it was... No. You guys have already murdered me in the
Oh,
comments.
great. Now we're canceled.
The one I'm thinking of is Chris Stapleton, Tennessee Whiskey. Which I would put on the same level.
That's another accurate, like the same kind of vocal Really?
Another song that if you're gonna cover, you better fucking nail it. Okay.
Chris Stapleton, another guy. He
And,
didn't get famous by having a shitty voice. You know what I
Facts.
mean? Like, these
And,
guys have incredible voices.
Yeah, T-Pain did a cover of it, dude. Fucking
Really?
just nailed it.
I have not
dude.
heard
It was
that.
So
You
good.
can bring that up after
We'll
we're
watch
done
it
watching
after
it. Yeah,
this, yeah.
just at least just a part of it, just so I can hear, because
And it was live.
I'm
Like,
trying to put the pieces together for that in my
Yeah.
head, and it is not
no
working.
auto-tune, just all live.
That doesn't
like,
see it's not working. I don't understand. We're gonna have to watch that.
The boy can sing.
All right, that's
Anyway,
pretty impressive.
So yeah, watch for the cover. We'll be putting it out.
Yeah, no shit. Like, after seeing Chris on the guitar here, I'm like, I
Really
never
tempted.
realized that it also sounds really good on guitar. Shit, okay. Just like on acoustic guitar, sounds great.
Sometimes it's helpful to go to an instrument and actually figure out the notes to the run. And then,
yes.
without trying to learn it too specifically with the instrument, start throwing it into your voice in terms of muscle memory over a particular tempo. But this one is pulled straight out of the major scale. So he's adding a pentatonic flair and accent to the major pentatonic scale.
Oh.
Control! And he drags
Okay.
that or rushes it depending on the vibe he's going for in the moment. Both in the studio and in this live one, he's rushing it a little bit more at the end there. Control! There's that wonderful, like, bluesy, slidey thing that he does at the end, too.
Don't you know I lose control?
Yeah, it's faster.
Mine next
So
The studio
good.
one, he drags it a bit more at the very end of the run.
to me. I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see?
If you'd like more help working on the freedom mindsets and foundational techniques necessary to use your voice like this, click the link below and join my free singing course. I'll help you act on the inspirations you get from other vocalists like Teddy and pull things out of your voice you never knew were there.
Which, by the way, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this was an ad so fucking long ago. I think I remember the first time I saw Chris Liepe, and the only reason this just came to my mind now is he always advertises free course or whatever. But I remember this was like right before Ryan Upchurch got famous, and I kind of fell into that thing of following him. But it was, I remember watching a video, and it was this guy, this bald guy, talking about learn how to do things with your voice you didn't think was possible. And so he kind of like shows a brief, and I mean, it was like a 2-minute ad. And he talks about, for instance, let me show you something. And he talks about this, would you like to sing lower? And he goes, well, let's try this. He goes, just on a speaking level, kind of bring your voice down a little bit. And he goes, okay, and then you're going to start singing. And then he goes, okay, you want to go a little lower than that? Just start talking a little lower than that. Then you can start singing. And then he's like, okay, now just practice that over and over and over again, and eventually you'll get to where you want to be. He's like, if you can do it on speech level, you can do it when you're singing. And so I was like, well, that's fucking genius.
It makes
like,
sense, yeah.
Forget your class, dude. I'm just
Yeah, like, it makes so much sense, dude.
But I wonder if that was him, because I remember
Might
the
have been.
ad was so bad.
Yeah.
Okay, the fucking visuals, it was him and a whole bunch of empty chairs, like kind of like choir chairs around him or whatever. He's just like, if you want to learn something about your voice, I'm like, dude, you're in an empty room. Like, what are you doing? Like, Chris Liepe, if you come across this, let me know if that was you. I remember what you taught in the small ad. I was like, that's fucking genius.
Dude, it makes so much sense,
But
man.
then I'm watching the actual ad. I was like, this is such poor quality.
Like yeah, he has definitely changed my perception on the notes that you don't think you can hit.
Yeah.
It's like, well, laugh or like throw your voice a little bit, and it's like just do it on speech level. Speech level is so important.
Yeah.
Because if, like you said, if you can do it in speech level, you can sing it. Like it's in your tonal range. You can do it. You just have to practice to get there and sustain that. And that all comes from just working your vocal muscles and making them used to vibrating at those frequencies and getting up there and doing that thing.
building that stamina.
Yeah, but it's there, man. You can do it.
Yeah, that just reminded me of that old ad.
Beautiful.
You hear how much he pulls chest up there? This is not control. it's not very light up there. You can see it in his body language and how he opens his mouth, really pulling his chest to the point of where there's almost this artificial ceiling or breaking point. Control! You really have to work that into your muscle memory if you want to get that in a way that's not too strenuous. He's mastering it. As I've been practicing this song, I've had to thin out a little bit up there just to get through certain parts, but I love how he's able to keep it so meaty and connected to his chest voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're breaking my heart, baby. You make a mess of me. Automatic.
So with all those endings, he's rolling around that minor pentatonic framework, putting some other notes in there, but he's using that as a way to jump around. It's really beneficial if you're wanting to get into agility like Teddy Swims to practice these little ornamentations. Like that.
Gotta miss, so won't you party like a fiend, like a bad habit. Bad habits hard to break when I'm with you. Yeah, I know I can do it on my own, but I want that real full moon, black magic, and it takes two.
I just love the lyrics, almost rap-like things that are going on in this second verse. The way he plays with the rhythms. You just don't hear a fusion of these kinds of styles, country, blues, little tinges of rap here and there.
Yeah.
This is so fresh and yet such a throwback.
Automatic. Gotta miss when I'm with you, I'm an addict. And I need some relief. My skin ain't your teeth. Can't see the forest through the trees. Got me out on my knees, darling, please.
Now, I don't think Chris Liepe is going to touch it, but I want to go back here just a little bit and refresh, because there was like two things I wanted to talk about here. Let's hear.
You, I'm an addict. And I need some relief. My skin ain't your teeth. Can't see the forest.
I need some relief. He doesn't. You don't hear that. You really
Need some relief.
It's he mutes it at the end of the E, and you don't hear that.
Yep.
He does it again on trees. Listen to for the word trees. There's
It's barely in there.
There's an S, but he cuts it short.
Barely in there.
And guys, I know this doesn't seem like a big deal, okay? When you say trees, the Z stays quite a bit. If you go trees, it sounds weird when you speak it, but when you sing it, it's crisp.
Forest through the trees. Got me out on my
Through the trees.
skin ain't your teeth. Can't see the forest through the trees. Got me out
Just
on
brilliant.
my knees, darling, please.
That note, dude.
Hear how clean that one
That
was?
throw.
Skin ain't your teeth. Can't see the forest through the trees. Got me out on my knees, darling, please.
Okay.
Well, it just gives him chills, dude. I love that, man.
So, in editing, if you can make this happen, go back just a little bit, cut that section, copy it forward, okay? You're going to notice when we're listening to this section, I'm going to go back. Me and Matt and Chris Liepe on screen are both going like this. And then when he gets to that run, and I notice this in bars too, when you watch people listen to it, they kind of do and then he gets to that run, and like everybody stops and they hold their breath. Is he going to nail it? Fuck
And then
yeah, he nailed it.
Yeah, crushed it.
Like what? Just watch Chris Liepe's body language. We were all doing the same thing.
We 100. Dude, I was watching the video the first time through, and then I watched Chris on the second. Like, yeah, that's.
You'll see it.
I feel like that was the exact same thing I did. Like,
And
and lose and control. Like we all freeze for a
And
second.
then-
Like, oh yeah, nailed it, dude.
Okay.
That's that musicianness in us.
God, dude.
Just listen to all the notes, man.
get into the vibes.
So that clean note up there shows that he has command over this rasp. This is not vocal damage or something that he doesn't understand how to use. He can be really intentional with it. Clean it up, back it off, really put it in, depending on how much chest he's pulling, but also depending on how much he's relaxing into sort of the back fringe of his voice, like I talked about earlier. And there's that wonderful descent into head voice over those single notes as he's climbing up, right?
Got to give shout outs to our boy on the other mic. I'm pretty sure at this point there's only 2 singers.
Yeah.
And that head voice, I love his vibe too. He's just behind the glass having like the best time, dude. Like I'm singing with Teddy Swims. I'm doing I'm having so much fun, dude.
Paid.
Yeah, like oh, it's so good. I'm actually gonna make money on this one because it's gonna get views. Yes.
I wonder if these guys travel with Teddy Swims or if these are
They
just
might.
the studio musicians.
I don't know.
And he showed up to do this live thing. And
I don't know if they're studio
Like-
musicians. They practice. They're very well practiced because
Yeah.
they it sounds exactly like it would sound.
Like you think of like SNL, right? They usually have live musicians. Those guys are what you would consider studio
Yeah,
musicians.
they're-
They can come in.
I mean-
you go, hey, play this song. They're like, dope.
It's
got
called
it.
the Saturday Night Live Studios.
Yeah.
So like those musicians are hired full time to do the music for that stuff. So
They can play any dude. It amazes me the amount of shit they can play.
just
Like,
I mean, you give them a tune and give them a couple. And
I think it was Ed Sheeran one time. He goes, hey, can you give me C sharp? And it was fucking nailed exactly
Yeah.
what he's like. Okay, cool, thank you. And
it's you know if you're at that level and you're seeing it from that perspective at that level,
Yeah.
it's just one of those things where you're like, well, yeah, it's just music theory, it's just
Yeah.
scales, and it's just things we've been doing for the last 30 years. The thing is the amount of time and effort that has gone into those 30 years in
Yes.
order for you to be that responsive and to have that relativity in the pitch. That's the amazing part about it. Like
Yeah.
anyone has the ability to be an absolutely incredible musician. Anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone. Even these people that my old bosses, I told them all the time, you know, I play drums, I do guitar. They're like, oh man, I could never play guitar. I'm like, you can. Nah, dude, I think it's pretty impossible. I'm like, it's not. You just need a lot of time, dedication, commitment, and practice. You just need to do all of those things
Yeah.
for a decade minimum. You know, if you do all those things for a decade minimum,
I mean,
you're going to come out on the other end pretty damn good.
I will say there is like I think everybody's body has a natural rhythm. Like the thing that I figured out is I can keep rhythm on guitar, but I really have to, like when I was learning it, I really had to practice it. Once I got that mastered, as far as like getting it in my arms, I tried to learn how to play drums. Dude, my feet can't do it, man. I just
See, they can.
But here's the thing. They can. It's going to take more time than it's worth.
It's going to take a lot of time.
It's going to take more time than it's worth
Yep.
for me to get there.
Yep.
Like,
And that's just what it is. It's like, do you want to dedicate that time to teach your feet how to do that thing? What is the end goal for you? If
Yeah,
it's
what's
just
it
like
worth to you?
just to try and play drums, well, that doesn't really do anything for me other than like a personal
Yeah.
gratitude, and I'm not really chasing that gratification. So like I don't really see the end goal in that, you know.
Yeah.
But like again, I mean, if you're willing, you're dedicated. Like I started playing drums when I was like 7 years old. I'm still learning things every single time I sit down, you know. And like I have some coordination and I can do some pretty cool stuff. But there are a plethora of drummers out there who have been playing half as long as I have that can do twice as much because they've put in twice as much practice as I have over that amount of time, you know. And they're just unbelievably insane.
Ellis Tapario, okay, that guy's fucking
Literally
insane.
considered maybe the best drummer in the world right
I'm pretty
now.
sure
Like,
when he was born, the doctor pulled out a pearl set.
he might
and
have.
Was like,
He might
"Where's
have.
the baby?"
He just
Like,
came
oh,
out.
there it is.
Came out rocking a
Like, he-
Zildjian shirt and a hat, and just was just like, "This is what he does now.
Yeah.
This is him. The new drummer has been born. He's been brought into the world. This is it. The legacy lives on. Yeah."
And there's that wonderful descent into head voice over those single notes as he's climbing up, right?
Bring your mind next to me. Yeah, you're breaking my heart, baby. You make a
Okay, sorry to pause it again. Listen, like Chris Liepe is really good about explaining the vocal stuff, and he has some breakdowns. Like his Michael Jackson breakdown is amazing. He goes into all the instruments,
So good.
the vocals,
So good.
I mean, he assesses everything. Here's one thing I want to point out in this clip, right? So the guitar that's been playing the whole time has had kind of a clean.
Like a clean tone.
Kind of a cleaner tone, maybe a slight distortion. They bring the distortion up for this next section, and it's not just an over ripping like.
It's more like just an overdrive or a boost or something.
Okay, I was a rhythm guitarist for a band once. All right, turn that baby up to 12 and let her rip, okay?
We dial that amp, bro.
Fuck the lead singer.
Everything
okay?
dimed all the way to 10. Don't matter, dude. Play it loud.
So, being a guitar player, he does a very good job of making sure he fits and sits within the mix. Now, a lot of that does have to do with the mixing engineer as well.
The engineer probably has a lot to do with
the
that.
The mixing engineer can dial it in perfect, and he can still give more guitar, and it can overpower sections of the music.
Yep.
In this, you don't really notice it.
I didn't.
If the camera didn't show him do that up pick, I wouldn't have noticed it change.
Until you said it, I would have brushed right over that. And now that we're going to go back and listen to it, that's all I'm going to hear now is just the guitar doing the distortion change.
And he just it was perfect because it's a little more bite to it, but it's not an
right
over
at the meaningful part of the song where it's kind of climaxing and doing the thing. It's like now you add that little bit of extra grit, and it just rounds out the whole mix.
It fills in the space without overfilling the space.
Yep, absolutely. Did you go back to it? Are we going to hear it? Okay, let's go.
Up, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
There it is again. Let's go, boy.
Oh, dude. We got it. All right, we got to pay. We got to give credit to the stank face. This boy went full. He knew his time was coming, and he went full stank face.
He was like, "Oh, the singer's done.
My turn. Camera's
Let
coming
me
to me.
roll up."
And now, for any of the uninitiated out there, if you don't know what stank face is in guitar, you're about to get a full on lesson for it. Okay, just pay attention to his facial expression right when he hits that bend note. Look at it. Oh, he just knows. He just knows.
Did you hear that little head voice run he did in interaction with the guitar solo?
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Does sing
I
in
didn't
that.
even notice that
is
until Chris
dope.
pointed it out, dude. Wow.
Let me point something else out you guys might not know. A lot of the most famous guitar solos, have versions of, they'll start the solo out with something to, you have your hook, right? So for this song, it's that nasty just bend, God, grabs you,
He comes in
sucks
very
you
dominant.
in,
Comes in very dominant, yeah.
Then he follows the melody for a second, and then kind of comes off the melody, and then comes back to the melody
Variations
again.
on the melody.
And then when he does come off the melody, the little riff that he plays it more than once.
Yep.
Now,
Repetition.
you'll notice, so you notice that in this song. Go listen to another song that's of this caliber, It doesn't have to be, I guess he's technically a pop singer or whatever. It doesn't have to be the same genre. It can be whatever.
You can listen to AC/DC or any rock band from back in the Led Zeppelin, any of those guys. Listen to any of their solos.
And you'll notice that the two important things, they reference the melody.
Yep.
And number two, when they do come off the melody, they repeat that run more than once.
They do a lot of repetitions.
Here's the crazy thing. It comes from jazz. And more specifically, it comes from Ella Fitzgerald. Ella Fitzgerald did a clinic on how to sing scat. And if you guys don't know what that is, it's basically in jazz, they have this form of the vocalist doing a solo where they don't actually sing words. So they do the and they just kind of do these weird noises, right? Well, they can, I've seen some scat singers make their voice sound like a trumpet, and they'll do a trumpet solo or a saxophone, or they'll just throw random, little words and syllables and whatever. Ella Fitzgerald said, because she has, one of the most famous scat pieces of all time, and she said, the thing is you have to reference the melody, and then make sure you have repetitions of what's unique, and it sticks in the person's mind, and that's what makes it so different and so unique. And guitar players took that and went, how do I write a good guitar solo? Well, let's look at scat in jazz, because that was the first solo to come mainstream to the world.
It adds uniformity to an otherwise ununiform part of the song, where it sounds like something unique is happening, but it keeps you what do I want to say? It keeps the song relative in the fact that you can hear the vocals through the instrument being played, and then the repetition helps you to understand that it's not just this crazy chaotic sense of whatever. They're not just playing anything and everything that comes to mind.
Yeah.
They're keeping it within a
like
certain parameter.
There's an intention behind it.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
And it just helps your brain, your subconscious brain, stay intact and in tune with what's actually happening. And honestly, it, like you said, it complements the melody, and the melody complements the solo, and then it just makes the entire thing more cohesive.
Yeah.
Without your conscious brain really knowing it. Your conscious brain hears it and you're just like, wow, dude, this guy is shredding that guitar.
Yeah.
And then you listen to it and you're like, wait a second, that sounds like some of the stuff he sang earlier.
And I think that's where a lot of like heavy metal rock solos have kind of come by the wayside, because I can't think of one that's memorable.
We call it riff salad.
Riff salad.
And we need
It's
to put an
just-
end to no more riff salad on
No
the
more riff
buffet.
salad.
All right?
Okay.
Stop with the riff salad. Quit with the 15-minute guitar solos. It's not. Stop it.
Stop
because that reason. Because of that reason. The more and more that happens, and the more you put that in there, the less people are going to remember.
Like
One guitar solo that's 10 seconds long is going to be way more memorable than a 3-minute guitar solo in every one of your 6-minute songs.
Now, let me play devil's advocate here, okay?
Nope. Let me just turn his mic off really quick. Here we go.
Freebird solo.
Okay. All right.
An
That's
astronomical amount of time
But-
is just spent. But it does reference the melody. It devolves into chaos, comes back to the melody, and ends.
I was going to say, if you think about it, there are parts of that solo, like when they first start. I want to fly. You know, like it references the melody of the song, and it
and
keeps
then,
it.
like, so you have that first section of the solo that's it's different. It's not quite the melody, but they're establishing a new melody.
Yep.
So yeah, the vocalist and the guitar rip off at the same time, establish the new melody. They establish things that are going to continue to see patterns throughout. So if you want to write a 20-minute guitar solo, you have to put in a little bit of work at the beginning and reference everything and all this riff salad that's coming out of new metal music.
Oh man,
fucking sucks.
It's not just a showcase of how good you are at guitar. Which
I can't think of one solo.
Even in some of the bands that I frequently listen to, I still can't reference their solos.
Yeah.
The heavier bands, because it's so chaotic.
And
it's awesome. They're so good. You're super talented, and that's great.
Now, there is a place, I think, As the Structure Fails does a good job of that. They don't necessarily reference the melody. At least I can't think of one in their guitar solos, but it's short. It's no longer than 15 seconds.
Yeah, I was gonna say they keep their solos short.
So you have this devolve into chaos and then back to
and that's the difference
thing.
we're talking about. It's okay to have a semi-chaotic thing going on for a very short, finite amount of time.
Yeah.
You're gonna do this random riff salad chaos 48 bar just ripper. I think in the long run it's gonna do you more bad than good. Yeah, more harm than good for sure.
Yeah.
It's just too much for the human brain to absorb. You have to keep things relative.
Yeah.
And the more you get away from that, and the crazier you, because look, I mean, not everybody knows what you're playing. Not everybody understands how to play a guitar or like what's even happening. They just know it as noise coming out of a box, and I know nothing about music theory. I know nothing about notation or scales or any of that stuff. And now all of a sudden I'm just lost in this, like, I'm watching you and it's amazing, but I can't comprehend anything that's happening. You know,
and I'll remember. Oh, he played a great solo. Oh, what it sound like?
Rather than if you're referencing the melody a little bit in there and then kind of doing variations on that, people are more likely to be like, "Whoa, okay, all right, that's kind of like I can almost sing along with the guitar solo as the vocalist now." You know, that kind of a thing. Yeah.
So, modern writing. Teddy Swims and his team did an excellent job on this guitar solo. Shouts out to that guy.
Yeah, let's go.
Did you hear that little head voice Runny did in interaction with the guitar solo?
Yeah, I didn't hear it at first.
I lose control.
Oh, change the melody.
When you're not next to me,
That was a nice change of melody.
I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see?
That was cool too.
Yeah.
Notice how in his runs, particularly when he's quiet, he lets his mouth guide him through the transitions between notes. Oh, that's huge. You see a lot of great singers doing this sort of thing. It's easy to go, oh no, you shouldn't let that's tension. It's not tension. It's the fact that he can move that around and it's so connected to what he's doing vocally shows that it's freedom, not tension.
Next to me, I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see?
It's thrown so far back and so far nasal. And lose. Lots of dynamic placement going on. He's not afraid to throw it way back here and then bring it forward for something that's less nasal. He's not afraid of nasality at all, though. How many times have you heard a singer complain about themselves sounding too nasal or that person's? This guy is so nasally engaged, and we love him for it. So beautiful. Just noticing his wonderful earring there.
Yeah, I didn't know what that was either. I thought it was hanging off his headphones, but earring makes sense.
Intro. Notice how he sort of sings out of the side of his mouth sometimes? That's a tonal modification thing, too.
Yeah.
Right out
There's
of
so many things going on that are
Straight out of Nashville.
unconventional and whimsical. I've used that word multiple times. He is shaping his sound without a care in the world for how he looks or how he's being perceived. He's fully immersed in the sonic possibilities with his voice and how he can modify them on a whim. That's one thing that I notice in amplified measures in Teddy's voice that you don't see as often in at least modern vocalists, I don't think. There's a lot going on here that's throwback. I love that this isn't drenched in tuning, that it's a raw live performance and it just slams. It is so cool. Love all the subtle improvisational tweaks to the melodies and
Really
the
good,
runs
man.
in this version. Having listened to the studio version to death, I can say that this one is right up there. I mean, I I really like them both. I might actually like parts of this one better just because of how raw it seems. If you would like help pulling things out of your voice based on the inspirations that you have from other singers, click the link below and join my free voice course. You can find that link in the pinned comment or video description.
I might as well. You know, I might as well. I might as well just go join. It's free.
It's free.
What's it gonna hurt? You get an email every once in a while with a video in it, and it teaches you. It gives you one of these lessons where it's just like, hey, today we're going over. I mean, he does this on multiple artists that we listen to, or that I guess that I listen to, in more in my vein, you know.
Yeah.
And I think I've said it before. I would love to hear him break down some of like there's some vocalists that I listen to that really just it's the Teddy Swims thing where they have this control over their raspiness, and I just don't understand how they're grasping that. This gave me like a huge eye opener.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not trying so hard. Maybe it's more of a desperation, more of a sigh, more of a more air, less force.
The thing that I've noticed,
Crazy.
because he covers a lot of just legendary, massive vocalists. And we noticed it with the Paramore, I think was the other one we covered on this channel. Even the Michael Jackson, the Freddie Mercury, Teddy Swims, they all find their power in the sigh.
You're right.
He brings it up over and over and over. Like all the greatest singers just...
You're right. Right.
I don't... There's something in there. There's something in that I'm just trudging through this thing, trying to get this message, and it's like...
And maybe it's because your voice is more it frequents those types of expressions more often than being forced, than trying to force out the edge of breakup via using air pressure and things like that. You can get edge of breakup just by doing that sigh thing and kind of pulling back a little bit and just using more air pressure.
It's so counterintuitive, but when you put it to practice,
when you do it
feels so much better.
It's crazy. It's crazy to think about. And it works. That's the craziest thing about it. You're like, you watch Chris Liepe do it, and then you're like, really? That's what he's doing? And then you do it yourself, and before you know it, you're like, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like, who would have thought? Who would have thought less is more? I mean, it's been a saying for a long time, and it applies to multiple facets of life. And this is just one of them. This is just another one on the list, man. Less is more.
Okay, less is more. Okay,
everything it costs,
options.
all right?
Okay,
we make $0 a year on food
We make
products,
all the money.
But
It's
we make more money
crazy.
than almost any other corporation, okay?
Music videos, some of the greatest ones ever filmed. Oliver Anthony in the middle of fucking woods on a cell
Literally
phone,
just in the
doing
middle
his
of the
thing.
woods, just on a like a two set of mic, just recording his thing.
Yeah.
Sang it, done on a 2-track. Like,
It's crazy.
Okay.
Dude. Like, and Chris Liepe didn't mention it in this song. If you look at the My Chemical Romance Black Parade,
I was gonna say,
his breakdown of that is.
I was gonna
fantastic.
mention My Chemical Romance, but I couldn't remember if he did one or not, and I didn't want to overstep.
He
but
did do one. I don't know if we covered it on this channel. If you guys want us to
when
cover
I
it,
was, because he
When
talks
I
about
was.
when I was.
Yeah, that
he
sigh.
talks about that. That's right.
But he talks about in that one in particular, he hammers it home. He's this character. He's this character.
Yep.
Okay, and then he swapped to a different character right here, and then now he's back in this character.
Yep.
Like, it's being in the character. And Teddy Swims through this whole thing, I don't think he had his eyes open very often. He was in the character.
He was definitely he was like Chris Liepe was saying, he's so immersed in what was going on with the song that he just okay, Mike's dropped again. I don't know why it's doing that. We're gonna restart Cubase after this. That he just stayed in that zone the entire time.
Yeah. And like a lot of times when I come into the studio, okay, and I go to record a song, and I think Creep was the last one I recorded, and it was the one that I'd watched a lot of Chris Liepe before, and I watched that particular one, the My Chemical Romance, and I was like, okay, this song has a pretty intense story. Like, I'm a creep. Mm-hmm. I'm a fucking weirdo.
Yep.
Like, why would you ever want to be with me? And I don't.
What am I doing here? Like I have no purpose or place.
Yeah.
Why?
And to sing that in a way that conveys the story it's telling, you have to be in that character. And so when I recorded that, I think I had my eyes closed the whole time, just picturing the movie in my head as I sang it. Like how does this? If this song was made into a movie, what would it look like?
Yeah.
And I put myself as that character and played that character.
Very appropriate.
And it works.
And it helps. It really helps develop the song too. It helps develop your voice. And
there's no way I would have hit. By the way, if you guys ever go back and watch that, the highest note in that song, that's your boy singing. Okay, I know there's two girls in there.
Yep. No,
I sang the highest note.
I think if you go to our page, just our 307 Reacts homepage, I'm pretty sure it's the main video on the top of the page. I think that's what starts out.
Oh boy, I had my whitey tighties on tight that day.
Just yank them up a little. There we go. Yeah, incredible. 5 out of 5. I learn so much every time we watch Chris Liepe. I would love to get him on the screen more.
If you guys want us to check out that Black Parade, I'd be down to hit it again.
Yep.
Let us know. We'll kind of see how this one does for copyright. I know usually on his videos he gets a lot of copyright, so we'll see. But they haven't got blocked.
I was gonna say, if it's a copyright claim, we'll deal with that. That's fine. I don't care. That's okay.
And if anything, it's more educational. We can.
Yep, we can always
do that.
We can select the drop down because of that. So.
Anyway, if you guys enjoyed today's episode as much as we did, be sure to leave a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, click the bell, become part of the notification gang. And we'll see y'all next time.
I was trying the thing. It didn't really work. I need to practice.
Notification gang.
Notification gang. Notification gang.
And it's almost like a grow.
We sound so stupid. But that's what it takes. You got to sound stupid. That's like, you got to practice in order to get good at something. And when you first start practicing, it's going to sound bad.
We talk about things nobody cares.
Talk about things
nobody cares.